What was your experience?
Yeah, and that was very similar. So working as a business analyst and a quality assurance analyst doing testing within a Scrum team, it was very similar. So it was very interesting coming from Waterfall and going into that. The business analyst traditionally has, there's certain roles, and there's some organizations that have the business analyst do more. But it was really cool in Scrum that's really like encouraged.
Yeah.
Like, hey, do your normal stuff, right?
Yeah.
And do your normal requirement elicitation and analysis and make sure that this is right and help, but also you're going to help with designing the product, and also you're going to help with this technical problem that came up. You're going to be kind of helping the developer out with that, and you're going to help with testing, and same with the QA. A lot of times they come in and they're going to help with some business analysis stuff, or they're not going to be stuck to their one area, which I think really helps for a couple reasons. Number one, it allows you to just broaden your skills, which is really cool in a job. When you when you do the same thing every day, it gets boring, right? And it just gets old. But when you can continually broaden your skills and learn new things, like new areas of interest, and go get involved in that, that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
So I think it helps to broaden, but then it also helps to reduce bottlenecks within the project. You don't have, we're waiting on Vivek again, but he's so slammed with all of his work, and so we're going to be delayed in getting this done.
Yeah.
No, that's not acceptable. Somebody needs to go in and help Vivek out with whatever he's working on to get all these pieces done.
Yeah, and this point, there's a lot of conversation. Okay, does a BA role fit in a Scrum role, right? And I say, with the example that I gave with the product owner, right? I think there should be an agile BA in a Scrum team, and here's why. A lot of the times product owners are focusing a lot of time on estimating the stories and just prioritizing, but I believe that that time should be spent a lot more time in the business side, studying about what the customer wants. And there is a need, if there's 4 or 5 developers, there is a need for a role who might be a BA, or in some teams that I work with, they call it a product specialist, where he is working with the product owner to have a campaign on how to gain user adoption, how to have that user interview early on in the process, and how to demo that product in every month even. So I think that role is very important. Writing user stories, coming up with exception criteria, writing technical spikes, working with the team and elaborating those user stories. All that is a full-time job.
Absolutely, yeah. And actually going back to that, before I became product owner, I was kind of like what they called like a product specialist or a pseudo product owner, where I was the product owner's right hand man. Basically, I was doing all the work. He was delivering it all to me in communication, and I was taking all the making quick notes, and then creating the user stories off of that, validating with him that meets the user needs. And while it wasn't ideal, it was what had to be done. The project had gone completely sideways. It was a big project. There was a lot of other work that product owner needed to do on the business side to help get everything realigned and get expectations understood, so then he could deliver that to the project team. So you kind of have, everybody, even product owners, get helped out by that Scrum team, or that dev team, as Scrum calls it, in helping them with their jobs as much as they can.
Yeah, and in this point, I want to talk about slicing, right? Slicing of the user stories. We have 2 weeks iteration. In these 2 weeks iteration, we're going to work on 10 stories, for example, right? So these stories should be small. And I think it is a pretty important practice for teams to learn on how to slice these stories. Where when the story is done, it adds some kind of, it's part of a feature that's an end-to-end vertical slice, right? And that's where a business analyst can partner up with a product owner to really slice the story, because it will actually require thinking, and it will require them running some experiments, or having these conversations with the user base, and also talking to team members, right? How do we actually slice this? So that is actually very important.
Okay, so that sums up kind of an overview of the roles.